with your teeth whitening. We offer the professional teeth whitening, which is Da Vinci. It is guaranteed to get their teeth back to the whitest that they will naturally go in 2 hours or less. It is completely safe. It is based with natural minerals. It is water soluble, so if they happen to swallow it, it will turn to water and it's not going to harm them in any kind of way. They can do this if they are under the age of 18. They just do need a parent's consent. I highly recommend that they do not do it if they are under the age of 12. Just because it's going to be really sensitive. So, but if their parents consent, then we can do it. But yeah, basically we're just going to walk you through the teeth whitening process. Our beautiful model here is showing you how the customer shall look right before the whitening process is the light's going to be turned on. So you can see she is wearing her protective eyewear. She's got a bib that is covering her clothes. There is a gloss side and then there is a matte side. Make sure you put the gloss side down. That's to prevent water from seeping through. And then her lip guard, which is in her mouth. There's a certain way to put this lip guard in, and I'm going to talk to you about that, and we'll show you about that when you're actually doing your in-person training. Okay, so let's talk about how to set up for the teeth whitening and how to prepare for it. So our teeth whitening gels have to stay refrigerated. So as you can see, here's a picture of the box. There is an expiration date on that, so do pay close attention to the expiration date. Even if we are not doing any, we do need to keep an eye on this and check it weekly to make sure that we're not going to have a bunch of teeth whitening gels that are going to expire soon. Sometimes you'll have 2 boxes in there. Make sure that you use the one that's open, the one that's going to expire first. And the way that you know if it's after the expiration, if the gel is no longer a gel, if it's liquidy, if you can flip it up and down and there's an air bubble that's moving, you cannot use that on anyone. So here's a picture of the gels, how they look in the refrigerator. Once you get this gel out of this box, it shall never go back in this box. If you have opened it, if you have used it, it is contaminated. Do not put it back in the box. You will have to get used to not using all the gel because in most cases you're going to have gel left over. They make sure to put plenty in there to where we have enough gel, and it will be thrown away. You cannot give it to a customer. You do not keep it. Do not put it back in the refrigerator. Throw it in the trash, okay? Okay, other than the whitening gel, you're going to have several different supplies, and those are going to be, some of these are going to be found underneath the sink in the teeth whitening room. There's some red cups. You'll need 1 red cup and 1 clear cup. The red cup is for them to spit in. The clear cup is for you to have fresh water for them to rinse their mouth. There are some smaller cups, some vitamin E. All the extra supplies should actually be under this counter as well. And so you'll have it all set out on the table ready for the client before they get here, because we do this by appointment only, because there's things that we have to prepare them for this appointment. And I'm going to talk to you about that in just a second, but this is everything that you should have set out for the customer. I'm going to go through it with you. You have your shade guide, which you should straighten those teeth. They look all crooked in this picture, but they should all be straight and neat. You should have a bib clip, which is that green string hanging over the glasses. You should have your red goggles, or they can bring their own sunglasses if they have them. You need 1 lip guard and 1 bib, 1 whitening gel. You need 1 cup with several Q-tips, and then you're gonna put just a little bit of oil. You're gonna just fill the bottom, just enough to coat them Q-tips, but not so much to where when you pick the Q-tip up, it's dripping with vitamin E. You shouldn't have much vitamin E in there at all, just enough to coat it. And then back behind there are your refer a friend cards, and then some extra cups if you need them. And this is all the things that you will get out prior to 30 minutes prior to the appointment. The whitening gel, if it is not taken out 30 minutes to set out, then you can put it in some warm water while you're preparing everything, and it'll be ready to go in about 5 minutes. But make sure that if the customer does not show for whatever reason that whitening gel, if you put it in hot water, you can't put it back in that box. We're gonna have to set it to the side and just use that on the next customer. Like, I don't want them to get confused with the ones in the box, okay? All right, so let's talk about the whitening process. So here we have, she's been under the light for 2 minutes, and there's a couple things I'm gonna point out that's actually wrong with this picture, and things that you need to watch for. And one of the things is that when you have them lean back, they need to be fully leaned back, because gravity will take over and the gel becomes liquid when the light hits it, and it will roll off of their teeth, and you will blanch their bottom gums if they're sitting upright, even just slightly. The pillow top on this chair is made to where their head can kind of slightly lean back. It's going to feel like their chin is up, and it should be. You should also instruct them that they do not need to remove that lip guard from their mouth for whatever reason during this process without letting you know, or without rinsing their mouth directly afterwards. The whitening gel that you're putting on their teeth, if it gets on their gums or on their tongue, it will burn them, and it will cause blisters if it's left on there. And some people don't understand this. Nobody's actually going to understand it unless you explain it to them. And so you do need to make sure that you are very careful when you're putting this whitening gel on to their teeth, that you put the vitamin E oil on first, then you put the whitening gel, then you go back with the vitamin E oil in that process. But you need to make sure that they're leaned completely back. You need to make sure that you tell them to continue to swallow while they're under the light. What that means is you don't want saliva to build up into their mouth, because it rinses the whitening gel off of their teeth, and then it defeats the whole purpose. So they need to swallow and make sure that they're not letting saliva build up in their mouth. They don't need to adjust the lip guard. They can move it around if it's like rubbing up against their gums, but they don't need to take it out. They need to keep their tongue back away from their teeth and be conscious that they don't need to be touching their tongue to the back of their teeth, or they could get whitening gel on it. They also need to make sure that the light is right directly up against their face, because the light is what activates the gel. So you will find that people get on their phones, and you'll go back there and you'll catch them and they have their head turned sideways, and it's okay to go ahead and tell them, listen, you're gonna have to keep your head straight, because this light is what activates this gel. If you turn your head sideways and get on your phone, only half of your mouth is gonna be white, okay? And I promise you, when you tell them that, they're gonna be like, oh crap, okay, and then they're gonna stay off their phones and they're gonna put it back up to their mouth like it should be. But yeah, so that's all the tips that I've got as far as like how to have them prepared. Just make sure that they are leaned fully back. The trick to those chairs is before they start pushing back with their body, they need to take their weight off the back of it, lift the handles up and hold them up, and then keep them up until they're all the way backwards. Sometimes I will just kind of stick my foot under the foot of the chair and kind of help them back a little bit if I need to. And the same thing about helping them up. You can help them up if you need to as well. When you are doing the whitening process, remember the steps, okay? So they can do 3 whitening processes, three 20-minute sessions, up to, they can also do a 4th 20-minute session, and I'll talk to you about that in just a moment. But they can do, on the process, you're gonna take their pictures. Okay, sorry about that. Had some customers come in. So let's kind of walk through the steps. So now that you've got the customer in there, if they are going to do the desensitizing gel, this is the time you're going to put it on at the very beginning. The lip guard is going to go in just as you see here in this picture. If you'll notice the part that's kind of sticking over her cheek, it's got that little tab on there. On the part that's on the inside, that tab kind of curls out. That's the part that the tab that curls out is the one that goes inside their mouth. But this is how it's going to sit right here. Sometimes it's good for you to screenshot this picture right here, or the one with her teeth white that's going to come up in a minute, and just save it to your phone. If you have trouble explaining how this goes in, you can just usually show the picture to somebody, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, I got it. Or you can literally put gloves on and put it in for them, which sometimes you may have to do. Okay, so now that you've got them in the seat, you're going to have their lip guard in, you have their bib on, they have their glasses ready. You are going to take before and after pictures. So this is a before picture. Just have them lean all the way back. Use your phone that you have, or use the iPad, and just kind of make sure that you're not shadowing their teeth from the light. Get in the correct angle to where you can see good, and take several pictures. Then you're going to do the same thing at the end of the session. You're going to lean them back in the exact same position, try to get at the same angle, and with the same phone, same lighting, and take their after picture. You don't want to get their face, you don't want to get their eyes or anything like that. You don't want to be able to tell who this person is by looking at their teeth. And that's just for privacy reasons with this one. So always take their before and after pictures. Just so you can really see the difference as well, and they can see the difference. A lot of times the pictures don't really even do them any justice. So now that you've got their picture taken, you're going to shade their teeth, and you're going to actually have them shade their teeth. And this is really important. You want to hand them the shade guide. It has numbers on them, and they'll just hold it up to their teeth along with a mirror, and they're just going to give you a number that they think that their before number is. They can look at their darkest tooth that they have and judge off of that one. But if they're going to do that, if their teeth are multicolors, which you'll see sometimes, and they're going to do that, then that's the tooth that they need to judge every time as far as progress goes. And just tell them this is just so you can. Okay, so here's the after picture. Sorry, I didn't turn it before I got back in here, but you can see it's a huge difference. Now this one wasn't taken with the lip guard, which is perfectly fine. If you forget that, you don't have to make them put it back in there. If they can smile good, it's fine. If you can do it with the lip guard, people believe it more for whatever reason when the picture looks almost identical to the one that's with it. Whatever though. Anyways, so I don't care either way. Just make sure you're taking before and after pictures. At this point, once they have shaded their teeth, top and bottom, you're going to write the first shade is going to be the top. The second shade is going to be their bottom teeth. If they're going to use the desensitizing gel, or if they're not, you should recommend it at this point that they do use a desensitizing gel. You're going to brush this onto their teeth. You don't have to worry about it getting on their gums. It's not going to harm them, but it's not going to do them any good either. So try to just keep it onto the teeth. Make sure you put it kind of on the tips and round on as far back as you can get, especially on the front teeth, because those tend to be more sensitive to any other tooth. You're going to leave the desensitizing gel on there for 5 to 10 minutes. Make sure you always tell them 5 to 10. The younger they are, if they tell you that they have extremely sensitive teeth, you want to leave it on there longer. You will not use all of this gel. There will be plenty left over. You will cap it. You will put it back in the box that you got it in and leave it sitting right beside their stuff. If you need to put some more on there in between each session, you can, but don't do it unless they need it, because they're gonna want to put some of that on after a couple hours when their teeth whitening session is done. They're gonna want to put that on, so you're gonna want to give them their lip guard, put it in one of those little baggies that's under the sink, rinse it off, put it in a baggie, hand it to them and say, hey, tonight when you get home, put this lip guard in, rub that desensitizing gel all over it, let it sit for 10 minutes and rinse it out. Take some Tylenol, you'll be good. You know what I mean? That helps with sensitivity. Once you get the desensitizing gel rinsed, they're going to want to rinse their mouth twice. They're going to want to use their tongue and get all that desensitizing gel off of their teeth before you start the whitening process. So make sure they rinse it really, 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 really good. Once that goes, you can put lean them back. You put the vitamin E on. You're going to coat just their gums and their lips. You're going to go with the whitening gel like you paint your fingernails, like a fingernail polish, each tooth as far back as you can reach, and trying to avoid the gums. You don't want to get it on the gums, but you want to get really close to the gum line. Once you're done, you're going to take another Q-tip with vitamin E, and remember, it's really important at this point that you do not have them soaking where they're dripping wet. If they are, just kind of squeegee it out on the side of that cut before you use it to where it's not dripping wet, and then just outline the teeth again on the gums just to make sure that you did not get any whitening gel in between their teeth or on their gum line. If you see blanching, it is really important that you take the light off of them and that you clean it immediately with vitamin E oil. Never double dip your Q-tip. So wipe it, throw it away, get another Q-tip, and just clean that spot real good, and then just soak the mess out of it. If they have crooked teeth or gaps in their teeth and they suck in like suck in, then it's very likely that they have got that all in their gum lines, and it's not going to be very comfortable. It's going to be extremely hard for you to stop it from blanching without rinsing their mouth completely. So if they do that and they have to rinse completely, then they kind of waste that gel, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do, and then at that point you need to let that vitamin E soak on there until the whiteness goes away or is almost gone. And sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes they may want to reschedule. And that is something that you, as a teeth whitening technician, have to be careful of not happening. We've got to get them through this teeth whitening session without them blanching. So you have to pay attention to the detail. You're going to have to make sure that you are being very, very, very gentle with putting that whitening gel on and making sure that it's not touching anything, that you're very adamant of checking on them every 3 to 5 minutes, and not just going in there and poking your head in and saying, are you okay, but physically walking over to them, checking their teeth, making sure they're not blanching, making sure they're holding their head right, making sure they're not holding saliva in their mouth, reminding them to swallow, reminding them of how much time that they've got, left, and then making sure that everything is going according to plans. Okay, so you repeat this 20-minute session 3 or 4 times. If they're not to a -1 on top and bottom at the end of their 3rd session, you're going to do a 4th session free of charge. You're not going to ask them if they want it. You're just going to offer it to them and say, hey, we can do it. If they say, no, I don't have time, and they refuse it, then that's perfectly okay. Okay, so the picture that I just showed you, that is your aftercare instructions. Make sure that you have one of those out. Usually after the 1st or 2nd session, I have those out ready to fill out. You also get out 5 refer a friend cards. The refer a friend cards are going to have the date that they came in, your signature, and then you're going to put their name on it as referring, and then whatever discount they got. So if they had $100 off, you're going to put $100 off. If they had $50 off, you're going to put $50 off. Whatever their discount was, up to $150 off. That's the most that you can do. So $99 is the least that we will ever sell this for. Give them 5 refer a friend cards and let them know that if all 5 refer a friend cards come back within a year, then they get their next teeth whitening for free. Or whatever. If we will keep up with them, so somebody comes in with them, and when you put them in the computer system, it'll say refer to friend, and you put that person's name. So I think that I covered everything. Remember, this is not your only training. You're going to have in-person training. We'll go over all of this again, but this is just going to kind of give you something to go back on to kind of remind you of what needs to be. So just to refresh, make sure that you are preparing this customer for their appointment. They do not need to brush their teeth 4 hours before coming in. Okay, they can use mouthwash, they can use their finger and toothpaste to brush, but they don't want to brush on their gums. It will make their gums extremely sensitive, and they will not like the process. Okay, same thing if they're going to the dentist, having braces removed, having cleanings done, any dental work, they need to wait 24 hours or 48 hours at least before they get their teeth whitening, and it's just because of sensitivity reasons. Their teeth will whiten just the same. They just might not be able to tolerate the pain from it. So that's the main thing. They cannot eat for 2 hours after they're finished, and then they have restrictions on what they can eat. So make sure that you prepare them for their appointment by telling them what they need to do before they come, explaining to them that during the process there's going to be 3 20-minute sessions. They're going to whiten your teeth from the inside out. The first 20-minute session removes surface stains. The second and the third 20-minute sessions opens the pores in the teeth and whitens them from the inside out. That's how we can get them back to their whitest. It will whiten dental work back to its original color. It's not going to damage any kind of dental work or veneers. It's just not going to whiten them any brighter than what they were originally made. So make sure that you keep that in mind. If they had recently had their braces off and you start whitening their teeth and you see little squares on their teeth, I suggest that you stop and you let them know that they still have glue on their teeth. So that's one of the main things with getting the braces off, is that sometimes the glue doesn't all the way come off, and so it's good to wait a little while. A few days, just a few brushings to get the rest of that glue off of there. If they are pregnant, they cannot get their teeth whitened. If they are breastfeeding, we want to encourage them not to get their teeth whitening, because those little white spots you see in everybody's teeth, that's from their mothers having too much fluoride when they were pregnant with them. So, and these definitely have fluoride in them, so does a desensitizing gel. So if they're pregnant, we don't want them to do it. Just wait until they're after they have their baby and after they're done breastfeeding. I think that's it. So I hope everybody makes lots of money on teeth whitening. The commission's really good on it. So good luck. If you have any questions or if you need any pointers on how to get people to come in for teeth whitenings, pictures are worth 1,000 words. So if you don't remember anything else, remember to take before and after pictures, and also remember to don't blanch them, okay? And they'll be happy.